Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knack. We've got live tournament action coming at you. It is going to be beginning on, guess what? It is Terminus. Super good map. But the best part of this evening is we're going to have Wendy co-casting with me for the finals of ALT-Stracraft's Open Arena Tournament. We've got a nice matchup here. We'll be a TvT. Now, how's that make you feel, Wendy?
It's going to be long, but I'm okay with that. It's Valentine's Day, and I don't have a date. So I'm quite okay with that. I feel bad for your lady, though.
Yeah,
how did you break the news to her? Like, honey, I got to do Starcraft tonight. I'm sorry. But here's your box of chocolate and some flowers, and I'll come cuddle with you after the night's over. How did she take it?
You know, it's kind of an interesting thing. My wife's super supportive of everything that I do. And I to be honest, it's kind of a sad deal for my wife, is that I'm actually not much of a holiday celebrator, if that makes any sense.
It's a Hallmark holiday, so
yeah. So it's just one of those things I don't pay much attention to. Yes, I did get her a gift and stuff like that, and I definitely want her to feel loved, so I do the best I can there. But she's so supportive of what I'm trying to do here that it's not a big deal for me to be out here casting, and we'll be done in time for me to go take her out on a drive. We'll probably go catch a movie or something like that. There's plenty of things we can do tonight.
Very nice, very nice. Ever need me to babysit your kids? Just ask. I'll take care of that for you.
Absolutely, I'll get you. We'll get you a private jet when ALT-Stracraft takes off. We'll buy a private jet so you can come babysit.
Gotta hire a personal nanny. But anyways, looking at this game, we have our blue player Sc2 has a gas down. As well does his opponent Spades, but it's a little bit behind, and that's kind of curious. I don't know why Spades is so significantly behind his opponent with his gas. Looks like both players are going for pretty much the same build, although his barracks. Oh, did Sc2 go gas first? I believe he won. Yeah, he won gas first.
He's got a lot of gas.
Wow. This is a good position for him too. His opponent is going to be expanding towards him, which is really important to note. So that means every expansion that Spades takes will be closer and closer to Sc2, meaning that his harassment is going to be that much more effective. So Spades has to be ultra defensive.
Right. Yeah, so that's a good point. And I mean, with basically the same builds here at this point, slightly different timings. But Spades is kind of interesting, and he's got some different timings. But you know, the one thing I've seen from him so far this evening is that he does not skip a beat. He knows exactly what he's doing. It may look strange to us, or at least to me. You probably would know better than I would. You've been a master level player before, so. Are you in master this season?
I can't. I don't know. I can't play.
You haven't placed yet? Oh, that's right.
I can't.
Your finger's still healing up.
It feels like I'm pressing a nail, like a sharp nail whenever I use my finger. So
make me cry.
I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, it says you haven't played your placement match for this season. And I'm just like, soon I'll be able to do it. Starport with Tech Lab on it will be coming up for Sc2, and he will be going for some very, very quick Banshees. I think this is the quickest possible Banshees he can get, although he won't be getting Cloak because he only has the one gas.
Right.
So he will likely expand out of it. I do like this play. It's a smart decision considering the spawning positions that they have, although he has not scouted his opponent yet. Just now scouting with that Hellion, and you're actually going to get lucky and see where the opponent is first. He'll be thrilled to see that, too.
Yeah, except he won't be super thrilled to see 4 Marines, now 5, blasting away at him. So he does back out, not able to get a scout out on whether an expansion has been taken or not. So we probably are going to see him expend probably at least 1 scan here, I would think. Either that or send out a different scout. Maybe he will wait for his Banshee, who knows. But he's sending out a lot of forces to the center of the map. Do you think this is going to be a good attack for him?
This definitely is. He has Hellions, and his opponent only has Marines at this point in time, although he does have a Viking on the way, which will take care of the Banshee no problem, especially considering he doesn't have Cloak. He just has to be able to control that away from the rest, from the Marine pack that Sc2 has. But what has me concerned is that Spades has no counter to the Hellions. And if those Marines get lined up, right now they're fine, but if that Hellion were to get in a little corner and would able to line those Marines up, it'd be game right there for Spades, right then and there.
Right, man. Here comes the attack. I think he's absolutely going to push through this. That one Viking is now out on the field. Nicely done there with the Viking. We need to see some micro from these Marines to take care of that Viking. He's got to try and keep this Banshee alive. Super important here. And but keeping his ground force alive is also going to be a big deal as well. So this Viking doing a lot of work. There's great micro here coming out from Spades. He's working on this wall off pretty quick. I don't know, Wendy. Do you think he's going to be able to make this happen? This is a good-looking attack.
He's now landing the Viking, which is actually a little bit risky considering he hasn't taken out the Banshee. If you didn't know this, Banshees are great against landed Vikings, coincidentally, just because of the way their DPS works. Once this tank pops out, Spades will be okay. This will not be a game, especially good repair on the Viking there. Once this tank pops out, he will be okay. He won't have to deal with the Hellions flame harass too much. And don't forget, the Viking doesn't take extra damage from the flame either. And he does have an expansion up, where his opponent does not. It's just now going down. You can see the ghost of it right there. So Spades is going to be able to get back into this despite having a huge army deficit, but he has to play it right. He has to be smart. And actually, that tank does go down.
Tank goes down.
He will take out that Banshee, though.
He's going to need to rely on that Viking once more with the repair on it. And this is big. Yeah. He's losing a lot of mining time here.
Oh, don't forget the Hellions going to harass on the workers, but good worker surround from Spades. I have to admit, that was as well played as it could have been. These Hellions, though, they're just so mobile, and you never realize, and oh no, a Viking's out for a Sc2. Spades just actually decides to land his. I thought he'd actually go for repair on it to try to take it out. But man, those Hellions are doing so much work. Look, how many workers has he killed? Wow, 8 workers have gone down on top of all the units he's roasted.
And you showing that Sc2 is indeed ahead in the economy right now, 26 to 23. He is securing his second base. So I mean, and quite honestly, Spades never actually completed this command center, so he can't lift this up. The only thing he can do at this point is cancel it. Obviously, he doesn't want to. I mean, that's a lot of time spent there.
Oh yeah, and Spades is now finally able to come into this push, and a few more units rallied over, including another Banshee. I have to say, I've never seen a push like that, and it's really impressive. Yeah. Really, really impressive. I've never seen. It was very acute. It was almost like a naked push that you do with that, and by that I mean none of your buildings have add-ons to it.
Right.
And in all that, Sc2 is able to get his expansion up ahead of his opponents. I'm able to get the orbital command out a little bit earlier too.
Oh, and look at the supply count: 28 to 20. Sc2 ahead in the economy in a very big way here, and as well as he's about to have that second orbital command complete, which means he's going to have more mules too. So I mean, he's looking to be in really solid shape here. And he's starting to put down a couple more barracks. I'll tell you, he's going to have another scary push, I'd say, coming out pretty quick here.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if he pushed again at about the 15 or maybe the 13 or 14-minute mark, just to kind of put the nail in the coffin. He knows he has Spades on the rope. If he gives him too much time, too much relay to get back into this, he's going to run into a few problems. Because if he needs to push before siege mode comes out, although I'm surprised that Spades is kind of neglected to put that down at this point in time. Yeah, it's kind of a key upgrade to stop any kind of Hellions or Marine pushes that might be coming up.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. And Spades with a pretty decent force of siege tanks. I like that he's got a lot of Vikings in his army. Air superiority is going to be a key here, I think, if we're going into this kind of mech with a lot of tank play here. If you can keep that vision up, that makes your tanks that much more effective, because as we all know, tanks can shoot further than they can see. They just have to be given that vision to know there's something there.
Yeah, they have an absurd range. I think it's like 15 or 13 range.
Oh, range?
It's unreal how great siege tank range is. And I do like the fact that Spades is taking map control with the watchtower. He's going to be able to see if his opponent's going to be able to push. It will give him a little bit extra time to kind of position himself in a position for his opponent's units. And he just has to be really careful at this point in time. He still hasn't gotten siege mode, and man, it's making just now getting it now. Just getting a tech up on his barracks too. And it's making me grit my teeth, man. He's playing really, really thin. He's behind by 10 workers now, although he has air superiority, which is pretty significant.
He's coming to take out both of these air units here. We've got these Marines just barely coming in to pick off one of those Vikings, but 2 Vikings still remain for Spades, and that's big.
That's huge.
He didn't say, he couldn't even save his... No, he did save the Banshee. Look, the Banshee remains with 22 HP. Lucky,
oh, wow.
Lucky girl there.
Sc2 needs to be very, very careful here, though. If he pushes in and too late, and Spades has a higher siege tank count, they're not even right now. But once he has siege mode, of course, once you have siege tanks, you have the defender's advantage. And here goes a drop. Really smart decision. Going to try and pull away some of the units. Although I think Spades sees it, he might even be able to pick off that medevac before it ever gets down. He gets the Banshee. He will be able to get the medevac before only 1 Marine drops off. In great position for Spades, despite not having siege mode. Just the DPS of the regular unsieged tanks is too high for this. Landing the Vikings even on the low ground, and wow, Spades by the skin of his teeth coming back into this, shutting down that push. Yeah. Good God, man, that was impressive.
Yeah, he cleaned that up in such good fashion. That's just putting him way ahead, and I think at this point now, checking the units tab, he does need to be mindful of the economy, but he's caught up in a very big way here economically. So now if he continues to play defensively here, he is going to find himself in a great position, I'd say. But Sc2is securing his third here as quickly as he can. Notice that he's going to go ahead and take out the destructible debris, which I think is a smart move. It's kind of a must-do. Oh, and look at this. Spades doing the same thing.
Yep, I was going to say they're pretty much on time with their expansions. The third expansions for Terran in this kind of matchup, getting up by the 14-minute mark is pretty much as late as you possibly want to be, right. Especially after shutting it down a big push like that for Spades. He knows that he has a window of time for him to get up a third expansion or maybe do a push. And doing the expansion's a safer bet. He doesn't really have high-tech units out. He doesn't have good upgrades on his Marines. He's just now getting Stim, and he has Combat Shield queued up behind that, although he has no upgrades for any of his factory units or his infantry. So I don't know what Sc2has on that, and he actually does have +1 weapons, about 60% done. So he will have an advantage to stress there, and mirror matchups, I cannot stress the importance of upgrades, especially for units like Marines that scale so well with it.
Yeah, it's so true. And Sc2, I think, is smart to be taking this forward position. He's not necessarily trying to to be prepared for a push here as much as he is prepared for when his opponent starts to push out. This will give him the opportunity to slow the attack, get himself a little bit more prepared. I think that he's kind of playing on his back foot at this point, which is the smart way to play it. He's got to know that he lost that engagement. Notice Spades scanning here, wants to see what's going on. It's this great play from Spades. Just bit by bit, this guy's making such phenomenal choices time and again, and here he is. He's going to take out
well, stemming up like that, going to take out 2 siege tanks, keeps his siege tanks on siege, which is such a smart decision because their DPS is so much greater, and he's going to be able to clean this push up as well as the medevacs, which is phenomenal. That's so much tech taking out for Sc2. Medevacs are just so expensive, 100 gas a piece, and they don't even attack.
Right.
So, because I mean, no infantry there, medevacs are useless. They're just as Destiny would call them, retard magnets.
Yeah, cannon fodder.
Yep, cannon fodder. And look at this, Spades taking the aggressive position here, doesn't want his opponent to push up any further, baiting him out the Marines with those Vikings, such smart play. And Spades is really impressing me, man. He said he was confident to take this, and I have to say, I think he just might. I mean,
yeah.
This is pretty good.
So much strength. Sc2, definitely a favorite to win because of his track record with ALT-Stracraft, but Spades definitely so impressive. And quite frankly, I mean, he's already a winner. I mean, he's placed second, even if he lost here,
Yeah,
and that puts him in the money. So for really great players, this attack from Sc2 seems a little bit risky to me. He's really trying to spread himself thin in a lot of ways, and here comes a drop from Spades. I think this is going to go well.
Yep, right over the turret that's building. Really good placement there. Getting kind of lucky, I would say, at the very least. And the great part about this is his drop is so small, it's not going to give up his position in front. He's going to be able to do a lot of damage. Look at all the SCVs that are about to go down. Yep, the only thing I'm really worried about is that Sc2 can be on 2-1 very soon with +1 on his tanks. That means that Spades has a lot of ground to make up for, because once those upgrades really start to kick in, he's going to be in a lot of trouble in just head-on engagements. Workers down, 17 workers going down for Spades, or taking out 17 workers. Sc2 now 44 to 60 workers, so he's definitely at a deficit. Although his upgrades, man, 2-1 on those Marines is going to be a lot to deal with for OO Marines.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Great upgrades from Sc2. It's one thing we've never seen him miss out on is his upgrades. And great positioning on his tanks. Stim coming down for both of these players. A lot of the tanks going down quickly for Sc2. Spades cleaning this up pretty quick. Oh man, those Marines were just not quite in position fast enough to salvage that little engagement there for Sc2. But he's got a lot. He's still keeping this forward position. He doesn't want to give up any ground. I think this is the best play, don't you?
Oh no, this is great because now look what he's doing. He's going to take this expansion out here. It's a full expansion. It's not small like. Well, actually, I think they've gotten rid of all the small expansions on this map.
All full on the GSL version. Mm-hmm.
So it looks like he will make a planetary fortress here and just hold down this position for a while. He'll be able to take hold down these 2 watchtowers and really kind of just zone him out. And he can look 40. He's now up 40 food against his opponent, and only 15 of that is in workers. So he definitely has a unit advantage. And if I'm seeing this right, he actually has he has 2 tank advantage, and Sc2 has no air whatsoever.
Yeah, he
has no medevacs, no Vikings.
I mean, he's got some in production right now, but just medevacs, and that's not what he needs at this point.
Here comes a group of Marines though over to the side. He's actually going to get a lucky pick and pick off 2 siege tanks as well as a few Marines. I have to say it's a pretty good pick for Sc2 as far as he can go. But here's the bad thing: he has no medevacs. Those Marines are now all in the red and orange and yellow. They're gonna die to 1 tank shot, even with splash damage. It's just going to take out that whole pack. Oh, there's 2 medevacs right now, but they will quickly run out of energy, so it's not going to matter for much longer.
Yeah, he's going to need a couple extra seconds here for sure to get those guys healed back up. But Spades in great position here. Did get an orbital there. You were right. I think he should have gone for a planetary, particularly in this position. But I mean, it is what it is. Obviously, the tanks. If you end up not being able to hold the position with the other army, I guess the tanks will be able to work on the planetary anyway. So I mean, it's pretty good play regardless. He is going to have a lot of mules at the ready. He's got 4 orbital commands out. So I think taking a 5th base here down at the bottom position, kind of interesting. But he's really spreading himself out across the whole entire map. Look at that tank line. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's going to be so hard to break. There's even some tanks unsieged, which is really actually, you would think would be a folly of sorts. But in truth, it's really so he can move those 2 tanks into a position and then leapfrog them over. You see a lot of pro players leave 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4 siege tanks unsieged, and then in an engagement or any kind of push from his opponent, he'll go ahead and try and manipulate them into a situation where they actually benefit him because they're mobile, and he can just siege up in another location very quickly. Right. But this has turned into a typical TvT, man. It's like another standoff situation. I am not disappointed in this at all, though.
Right. I mean, checking in on your upgrades, Sc2has got +1 attack on his tanks now. We've got no upgrades for Spades quite yet. He is working on +1 attack, but look at this you've got infantry +3/+3 for Sc2 going down, as well as vehicle weapons level 2 going down for Sc2. His tank's going to be doing a lot of damage. Oh, but look at all these drops, man. He's clearing this out.
Oh, yeah. Look at this multitasking now coming out of Spades. Really, this is what's so great about Terrans who hit that supply cap. They realize Marines, medevacs, pretty cheap, pretty easy to, really quick to remake. I'm going to start dropping like crazy and really start stressing his opponent beyond his capability of understanding what his opponent's going to do next. And look at this. He's going to heal up, drop over to this one. Although there are another pack of Marines here, I think they will be able to snipe the medevac, but look at that. Scans, moves right away, and he's going to drop right back onto this expansion. Pick off a mule, which at this point in time is pretty significant.
Yeah, Sc2 can't really afford some of these losses that he's taken. It looks like we've got mobilizing here for the main force too. Oh, look at this big drop going towards the main here.
Yeah, a little bit of a doom drop going on into the main. Missile turret, I don't think will be able to take out much of anything. And Sc2 is in full retreat right now, stimming over. Look how red those Marines are.
Yeah,
and I think this drop is going to just do so much damage to the infrastructure of Sc2. And the great part about this, if Spades sees this going awry, all he has to do is pick up his tanks, leave the Marines. They're cheap. He has a great economy back home, then remake them, and just take his medevacs and tanks back home. And look at this. Look at all this. And all the supply depots are going to go down. And that's just wow, look how much the supply has dropped for Sc2. Even the cap is down to 164. Yeah. And if Spade's paying attention, I hope he is. He'll fly those medevacs right on back home. And actually, it looks like Sc2 is going to leave a few Marines in his base and just not be able to do anything. One siege tank getting stuck between some structures.
Yeah, he's these guys up. I mean, he can't really afford to be losing the supply depots right now. They take too long for him to be building. When he's got to max himself out. He's got to know that Spades is completely maxed out at this point. Well, I mean, almost completely, but close enough, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much. When you see the 200 cap hit, they are maxed out. And Spades going for another one, realizing that his opponent has left exactly no anti-air over his tanks. He's going to go ahead and just drop right on top of them. Oh my god, it's a brilliant play. And all the tanks are just going to begin to kill themselves. Oh my god, look how quick they're done. I've never seen a Sc2 look picked apart like this. My god.
I mean, this is a different game than we've ever seen, and we've never seen Sc2 do anything but control a game. And we've seen it go 5 games with Sc2 before, but I mean, he is really having trouble here in game number 1 with Spades' play. Spades is really driving this game every single whit, and what phenomenal play from both of these guys. And this standoff in the center of the map is getting really brutal.
Oh yeah, look at that control, that micro from Spades, darting his medevacs around so they drop a Marine in different locations each time. Gets that Marine down to 5 health, and he's just fortified this position so well. If vSeoHyeon has one opportunity to come back, it's the fact that he's on 3-3 and his opponent is still on 1-1.
Right.
If there's anything he can really stress, it's that. So he needs to get into small engagement, but it's really difficult in this position. Wow, 18 tanks Spades has out. 18. And he's on 80 workers, too, so his economy is out of control.
Right.
If you can starve his opponent out, get engaged in small groups, vSeoHyeon can come back into this, but it's looking very, very, very grim. His infrastructure is pretty much rattled back home. He's trying to remake it as quickly as he can, but Spades has so much money banked, too.
Yep, here he goes. He is going to be moving in, sieging his tanks up. Oh, and those Marines are going to disappear if they do not get out of there. Half of them do evac. But Spades in phenomenal shape. He's still completely maxed out at this point. ScHyeon down to 134 supply, and ScHyeon is going to have to get himself in better position. Look at that. He realizes that this side over here, I guess what would be the bottom center, is a little bit undefended after he did lose those tanks.
Yeah, but Spades already one step ahead of him. He's going to siege up right there, deny vision on the watchtower, which is so crucial at this point in time, considering the fact that like you said, siege tanks can shoot farther they can see. 13 range, it was right. And there goes a scan from ScHyeon. I think if Spades were to maybe just stim up with all his Marines, and he might be able to just break through. There's only 4 tanks, and it's not like ScHyeon could push into his 18 tanks there. And there's Spades sending on his skin, gonna go ahead and pick off another tank. And at this point in time for ScHyeon, each tank that he loses is a bigger blow to him. It's just he doesn't have the infrastructure to make it. He does have more bases than his opponent, but if you look at that, Spades is actually taking 2 more bases in the right side of the map, and he'll be fine once those go down.
Yep, he's going to be in great position economically. ScHyeon he's almost getting up to the point where he's going to be maxed out again. He's going to drop over here, which is a smart play. Going to go ahead and pick off this command center. Every little bit is going to help here, and it looks like he may even be in position to, if he can get down there fast enough, he might be able to do some damage down here, but here comes Spades. No, he's not going to be able to do it. He's going to have to...
Yeah, and this is the engagements I am talking about for ScHyeon. These small engagements, despite having a higher medevac count, Spades is not going to be able to take this force out very easily, and if he does, I'd be quite surprised. Wow, medevacs are good. That's what I've learned today. 2-2 Marines will take out 3-2 Marines so long as there are more medevacs. Yep. That's what I've learned, and I love high level games like this. You always learn little things like that. It's kind of how Brood War was. I don't know how much you follow Brood War, but that's how in depth. Like they knew that 15 Marines with 6 medevacs could take out, or with 2-2 could take out 3-3 Marines with only 3 medevacs. You know, right. Like they learned these little small situations, and pretty soon StarCraft 2 is going to become that. Give it 2, 3, maybe even 5 more years, and that's all StarCraft 2 is going to be. You're going to have to be very, very good at the game to be at the top level.
Nice drop going down over here at the 3rd. He did pick off a little bit of the mining SCVs there, but they were cleaned up there pretty quick as well. He did lose that medevac to the missile turrets there, but I don't know. I would say probably worth it at this point, but checking in on that units tab again, we still find Spades so far ahead economically. I just don't know how ScHyeon is going to be able to swing this in his favor. It's going to have to come down to a blunder on Spade's part, or ScHyeon is going to have to...
22 tanks out now for him. 22! Wow. When was the last time you saw 22 tanks in a TvT?
Well, I mean, I guess I saw one earlier tonight, but he went all tanks, though. That was the thing. And he went straight tanks. He had literally nothing else.
Now, Spades taking control of this watchtower, which is huge. This is going to grant him a lot of vision and control over this area of the map. Yep. ScHyeon needs to be very, very careful, though. He's actually going to lose the vision by taking out that one tank, but I think Spades... Is he still in range? No, it looks like he's not. So, quite unfortunate, and this is how this map is going to play out. You're going to see missile turrets going to go up. You're going to see it's pretty much going to turn into all tank Viking, and I think, actually, he's now jumping ahead on the upgrade count. +3 weapons for the Terran vehicles now finishes, as well as a 3-3 for his Marines. So Spades in every way ahead of his opponent.
Yeah, he's doing a great job with these tanks. +3 did just complete. And look how much that damage that does. When they're verse armored, 65 damage. Wow. Yeah.
Tanks scale very well with upgrades. I mean... Yeah. A little known fact that, if in the ZVT matchups for Zerg, if they get the +1 carapace, their Zerglings can take an extra hit from the siege tanks. Once those siege tanks get +1, I believe Zerg, even with +3 on the Zerglings, won't be able to withstand 2 hits. So you kind of have to realize tanks scale incredibly well with upgrades. Although Spades making a small blunder here, does not have control of the watchtower. He needs to get that, or else he's going to be in a lot of trouble. I think he's just realizing it now. He's going to move his tanks a little bit closer, realizing his opponent's tanks really are in position, and now, oh my god, all those tanks are going down.
Look at all of the missile turrets he's put over at this 3 o'clock position.
No medevac is getting through there ever. This is a no-fly zone, is what Spades
no-fly zone.
say.
That's well said.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, I mean we're kind of in a standoff position. It will be this way for a good little while, I assume.
I think actually that drop from earlier picked off the engineering bay of Spades and delayed his +3 attack.
Oh yeah, it did. You're right.
Oh wow, I did not notice that. So he's only on 2-3, but at this point in time, considering his tank count 19-9, doesn't really matter too much. I'm surprised ScH2Hyeon is not trying to drop more. I mean, he could drop right on top of these tanks right here easily with just a medevac full Marines.
Yeah, that's true.
Really not much there in the way of anti-air, but I think...
Oh, here he goes. He's going to stem forward over here, and he's going to take out these tanks at the tower. Smart play there. If he can gain control of that tower, it's really going to help him out here.
Yes, and this is what ScH2Hyeon needs to do. He needs to engage in small packs. His units right now have a small upgrade advantage, and especially with Marines, he needs to stress it as much as he can. He needs to get into small engagements. He can't overstim. He just needs to play smart.
Yeah, ScH2Hyeon has definitely got great control over his units, and hopefully he's going to be able to do the best that he can here. But I still say that Spades has kind of got control of this game in many regards. But ScH2Hyeon's starting to catch up, and that's part of the problem, like we were mentioning earlier. If you let your Terran opponents in a TvT sit around, it starts to even out very quickly just by sitting.
Yes. Yeah, but look at the bankroll of ScH2Hyeon. Now getting, oh my god, there are 7 starports going down in the, I'll ping it for you. Check that out.
Oh, wow. We're going to see some, looks like some serious battle cruiser play, maybe? Either that or he's going to mass Banshee.
This is going to be Rain versus Boxer all over again. Different map, but there's, that's a lot of starports coming down. Didn't even bother taking out the destructible debris at this third over here, and he has
just mining it.
so many orbital commands on the map right now. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8... 9 orbital commands on the map, or 10 orbital commands, all brimming with energy. So scans, mules, on-the-fly repairs is all going to be very accessible to him. This is kind of the point that you'll see Terrans start sacrificing workers to beef up their army counts. I would not be surprised if Spades just decided to sack an entire expansion full of SCVs in order to just keep them in gas and just use mules. Look at this bankroll, man. 7,000 minerals, 5,000 gas. It is not looking good for ScH2Hyeon, who only has 2,000, and that's not a lot in TvT.
He's getting weapons refit. How often do you see the weapons refit?
He's going for the Yamato cannon, man. Where's that fusion core? I want to see some fusion core dances.
Yeah, where's the fusion core? We better go take a look at it.
He's actually getting an additional fusion core to get double upgrades on there. This guy is going out of control.
Where is it? In the same place?
One is going down in the third that he's made all the starports in. I have no idea where the other fusion core is.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I didn't see it. Okay.
That's one of them. He's, no, that's a ScH2Hyeon getting that one. I didn't even realize.
The Yamato cannon is going down. It's about to be completed for ScH2Hyeon. He did complete it, and it's just now going down for Spades. Yeah. But we've got battle cruisers on the way for both players. 4 for Spades right now, 2 for ScH2Hyeon. So kind of an interesting deal there. But these guys are definitely beefing up for their super late gameplay.
Yeah, I definitely think Spades has the edge, though. Even he's now killed off a whole bunch of workers. Although here comes the drop for ScH2Hyeon.
Straight to the main.
A lot of damage. He just Spades has nothing in position to deal with. He's going to pick off 1 medevac, but it might be too little, too late. Spades should just abandon ship. He should lift all his command centers, cancel his upgrades, and just try to bail out of there. And I don't know why he's trying to fight. Not a good decision. He just should lift everything and bail. It's not going to be able to say it, or likewise, maybe push on his opponent. But this base is not going to last.
Yeah, look how many battle cruisers we've got in production. 6 right now for ScH2Hyeon, 4 in production for Spades. ScH2Hyeon, though, is taking out a lot of production facilities here for Spades. Spades is probably going to have to rebuild those. Looks like units lost is starting to...
Oh no, all the supply depots back here. He's definitely going to get supply blocked if all these go down. This could be game for Spades right now. Yeah. If he does not make a significant push or deal with this in a timely fashion, it could really just decimate his end game right now. He's
got so many Vikings out on the field. He may have overcommitted to Vikings here. We'll see if that's going to be the case. But Marines, I'll tell you, they're so expendable. I mean, ScH2Hyeon doesn't mind taking out buildings here when he's only risking these Marines. And look at that. He's cleared out this entire main. The production for Spades is going to be almost nil for low-tech units. Basically, the only thing he's got right now is starports.
Yeah, he has starboards, but you have to consider the fact that ScH2 has 9 battle cruisers, Spades has 4, but he has 17 Vikings. So he has air control right now.
That's true.
And I don't know, does he have... Oh, then here, look, this is going to be huge. Despite losing all that, all these Vikings are going to take out those medevacs, and that's really big deal. He'll be able to land all the Vikings. Doesn't even matter how many Marines are here. And this is going to be a big, big deal at this point in time. ScH2 has now lost all of his infantry. He's down by a significant amount. Looking at the army supply, it's 116 to 158. So Spades significantly in control of the air. And
look what ScH2 is building. He's building Thors right now to compensate here. He knows that his opponent's getting a lot of air out, so he is going to put some Thors down on the field. A smart play. Here comes Spades though with his maxed out air army. Look at all these Vikings. Oh man, and that is literally 7 battle cruisers there. Wow.
Yeah, ScH2 has 9 of his own, but 24 Vikings out for Spades. And don't forget, here comes a big engagement though. I don't even know how to describe this. Yamato cannons going off, hitting a few battles. And Spades needs to get his Vikings in a better position. Needs to start focus firing battle cruisers down. And it's 4-4 right now, but Spades has a significant advantage with all the Vikings in there. It does not matter how many ScH2 has. He's just too great on the Viking count for Spades. Upgrades are definitely better for ScH2. He does have 2-2. So I don't know if this could go in the favor of ScH2, but no, it will not. Dropping down to 134 supply.
Wow, unbelievable. Spades really cleaning that army up is a big deal, but here comes some Thors. Thor's going to be a smart play here. That is really going to push these guys back a little bit. We're going to see a super tech army coming out of both of these players here as we move forward. ScH2, though, is way behind in the supply count. The nice thing for him is that he still has a lot of factory production, which is going to enable him to be pumping out these Thors, but currently he's just working on 2 Marines. He's only building 2 Marines.
That's all he's building right now.
Yeah.
He needs to be careful, though. Excuse me, Spades needs to be careful. He has not rebuilt any of his armory, so he's not getting upgrades on his air units. And I think ScH2, if he gets higher up enough in the count, he will be able to overtake his opponent just on upgrades alone, and that's a really big worry for me.
I agree.
And dropping one Viking off to try to do damage to that tank. Smart decision, getting to clean up a few Vikings of ScH2 in there. And Spades, so long as he plays smart, and there he goes. He's got an armory down somewhere. Now getting +2 weapons and +1 armor for his ship.
Grabbing out more Thors and battle cruisers too, man. Look at that. Look at all these upgrades. He's getting +3/+3, ship plating. Wow, unbelievable.
Yeah, and here comes some Marauders from Spades. I do like that decision. They're very agile units in comparison to the Thors and siege tanks. So if he can engage away from the siege tanks, or maybe where there isn't too many siege tanks, Spades is going to be able to just go in, snipe the Thors with his Marauders. Who cares if he loses them? They're cheap units at this point in the game, and just be able to dominate with the air just because he has a higher unit count.
Yeah, and the nice thing for Spades is he does have so much more economy still. He's really almost mined out the entire map. He's got, or at least his side of it. And he's floating almost 5k minerals here and almost 4,000 gas. I mean, it's just so much. ScH2 is just barely, though, about to get maxed out here again, and he's going to go for another attack. We're going to see some siege tanks disappear. A little bit of energy well spent there, I'd say, for these battle cruisers.
And dude, I have to. This is the best game I've ever seen. I have to admit, this really tops a lot of games. This one will get best games I've seen, period. Like, one of my favorite series is Idra versus Bomber at MLG Anaheim, I believe it was. Maybe it was Orlando, but this is, like, rivaling that. It's just such an intense, like, back-and-forth game. And ScH2 just remax now. Spades, let him get there.
Yep. I love his unit composition. I love the amount of Thors that he's got in here. I'm not super comfortable with the amount of Vikings that he's got. You don't want to overcommit. You got to have some ground army, too, you know?
Yep.
But I mean,
no Yamato cannon's going off for Spades, and he's engaging with his battle cruisers before his Vikings in there. He needs to be careful. He's being really smart though. He's keeping his Vikings out of range of his opponent. But I think Spades is losing this battle. He's dropped in the Viking count. It's now 14 to 15. He's now even. But don't forget that ScH2 is way up on the upgrade count. Has 2-2. His opponent only has 1-2, and Vikings do 2 shots. So that upgrade counts for double, and the armor counts less for Spades. So he needs to be very, very careful here.
Yeah, but he's going to lose. He's going to start losing some more production facilities, and this is big. ScH2 really needs to be moving towards the right side of this map with this army. Wants to engage his opponent's army where possible here. He needs, because he does have superiority, I think, in the army count at this point. Needs to be utilizing that where possible, but he is going to cruise over here with a small detail of Thors. These guys are going to be able to take out quite a few units. over here. He will stall a lot of production. Notice that Spades did rebuild some production facilities here, but they're going to go down. And so these barracks are going to disappear. I mean, this is hurting him, I think, at this point. Spades has got to be super careful, but ScHyeon's starting to take control of this match. What am I supposed to think here? Wendy, what am I supposed to think?
Dude, I have no idea. There's words I'm not going to describe. ScHyeon is just kind of proving his mettle right now, saying, like, this is my tournament league that I take. I go to the finals every single time. There's no equal to me, and I will show it to you. Another big engagement. Yamato cannons going off on the other battle cruisers, but I don't know if there's enough here for Spades. He does have more Vikings, but the battle cruisers just dish out so much damage, especially with the Yamato cannons, although I think they're all expended right now. Yes, they are. So Spades trying to cut back on the battle cruisers, trying to outrange them for at least a little bit, buy himself a little bit more time, and then GG.
Yep, look at that. But like you said, it came down to the upgrades. He got behind, Spades got behind in the upgrades, and ScHyeon ended up overtaking him there. Unbelievable, Wendy. I can't even tell you how many gigabytes of game time we just put on my hard drive. I might have to install a new hard drive tonight. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you guys for watching. Don't alt-tab, always let Starcraft. We're going into game number, what, 2? Yeah, 2.
Yeah, wow. Game number 2.
Feels like 4 or 5, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see you guys then. Thanks, Wendy.